Call this meeting to order, the City of Monroe Planning Commission, Tuesday, August the 18th, 2026. Roll call. It appears that everyone is present. No absences. Minutes of the previous meeting. Have you had a chance to review those minutes?
Yes.
Can I get a motion, entertain a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very well, minutes are approved. Report from Code Officer.
I have nothing to report this evening to the Planning Commission, Mr. Chairman.
Very well, then, old business certificate of appropriateness, 4452 1110 North Broad Street.
You want to say, then now's the time to say something.
Can I get approval of the agenda real fast?
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
These two. We need to approve the agenda.
I move we approve.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we're back to 4452.
Yes, sir.
North Broad Street.
Do you want to tell them?
I'm sorry? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. In regards to that request for the Corridor Design Overlay District request, the applicants requested to table that again this month. They did receive conditional use approval at the city council meeting last week with conditions, but the hardship variance for that request was denied. But they have asked to table their design hearing, which is basically your corridor design application before you for this meeting.
Okay.
Motion to table.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is tabled. Okay. All right, with that being the question, looks like the next item is new business, rezone 4742 north and south sides of East Fambro Street. And all these PO boxes, POs here, 109, 108, 1112, 1114, 18, 22, East, and 124 East Fambro Street. Is there someone here to speak for that?
We'll do staff report first. All right, like you said, rezoning for those properties on East Fambro Street, rezoning from M1 and B3 to R1A. This is what they are currently, or this is the illustration where those properties are. You can see most of them are on one side of East Fambro, and then 109 is there by itself. Well, I'm sorry, I forgot to change the aerial on there. That'll be on the other ones. Okay. On your left is what the current zoning is. You can see it is M1. This whole block here is M1, which is our light industrial manufacturing district. And then you can see the 109 parcel is B3. It is part of a larger church parcel. It was formerly a residential parcel, but then the church bought it, absorbed it into their property, and demolished that home. You can see R2, which is one of our residential zones here up at the top. The M1 zoning district was created on these properties in anticipation of some industrial expansion that never came. And they have, in the meantime, remained residential in their use. And so our proposal here is this would be a city-initiated rezone to get the zoning aligned with what's actually happening out there. We'll leave these other properties M1, but the residences would be rezoned to R1A. And we can see the aerial here. If you can see it on the bottom corner there, there's some industrial, trucking materials handling.
Yeah, some aggregate.
Aggregate.
stone and
Yeah. Okay, so like I said, in the 1960s, they anticipated that block would expand. There used to be a railroad that ran through there. The expansion never came. It's not viable. There's no industrial user would want these properties or want this, the rest of the block here. They've remained residential. The rezoning is correcting a map inconsistency. Importantly, the rezoning would legally recognize these existing single-family homes and allow future additions, expansions, and accessory buildings and other permitted residential uses by right. As far as the church property go, it would technically be a split zone right now, but it would enable the church, if they so desired at a future date, to subdivide that property into 2 single-family lots for 2 additional homes. So staff is recommending approval. This is a city-initiated rezone. We've notified the property owners, so they are aware of what's happening, but it is a bit unique. Normally, it's a private applicant bringing the case.
Very well. Is anyone here to speak for this rezone, other than the presentation we have? Any opposition? Hearing none?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second. All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Next, annexation in conjunction with rezone 4763 to 329 Jim Dawes Road, 1098 US Highway 78.
Okay, we'll start with staff report here. This is a two-parter. It's both consideration of the annexation request and also a rezone from B3 to Planned Professional District. The property before you is 329 Jim Dawes Road and 1098 US Highway 78. That would be Highway 78's address is over here. Formerly a home, just a single-family home, and then the 329 Jim Dawes tract is right here. The applicant is combining those into one property in anticipation of building a technical training campus, but they're asking first for an annexation. So these are the dimensions of the annexation. You can see on the bottom right, the aerial here, largely wooded. You may have noticed there's construction activity out there now. We'll get into that in just a second. The annexation is just over, just under 49 acres. It's zoned B3 according to Walton County. As they're coming into the city, they would need a new zoning district to match their use, and the one that is most close to their use, which is relatively unique, would be our Planned Professional District. This is our site plan here. So we've got our main training facility right here. We've got some mock-up. This is a basically utility installation, and they work across the country. So they're bringing their training facility here. So they have mock-ups out here for their trainees to work on. Then they have some lodging here, parking, a little bit of a trail through the woods, and a caretaker's house out here. They're the facility manager. And then they would have 2 entrances, one on Jim Dawes and one on Highway 78. And then you can see there's a fairly large chunk that would remain wooded and buffered from the adjoining properties. Okay, project summary. So a bit of a unique use. You don't usually have a technical training campus in your zoning use chart as a standalone use because those are rare. It includes about 17,000 square feet of classroom space, about 8 to 9,000 square feet of lodging for approximately 43 trainees. The training mock-up buildings, a dwelling for the manager. They said up to 5 employees out here. 127 parking spaces, which is a lot more than approximately 50 people that are currently anticipated to be there. So that's something that staff is a bit concerned about. We typically like to see people right-size their parking to match their potential use. However, they do have room on the property for future expansion if they choose to do so. It was originally rezoned B3 by Walton County to facilitate the construction of the project. They anticipated staying in Walton County until they realized during construction that they would need sewer access. They had planned to be on septic, then they realized mid-project that wasn't going to work. So in order to get sewer, you have to be in the city limits, and that's why they're requesting annexation. And then on top of that, you would need to have a zoning category that's appropriate, which is why they're asking for the planned professional district. These are some elevations, drawings of what their main training facility would look like. These are the lodging. More of the lodging. And then the training mock-ups. Staff in our report noted a few different things. Sewer access is now the primary constraint on the project. It could, B3 zoning in Walton County would allow it to proceed, but it's the infrastructure that's the issue now. It will require a pump station because it's on the other side of the Jim Dawes Ridge there. So you are extending public infrastructure, which can be costly. We recommend that they would have a private pump station and that their section of the sewer line would be maintained privately to take the burden off of the city. It is buffered from other properties. It is not really an industrial use and it's very low intensity. So that's why we didn't extend the M1 zoning that's in the manufacturing park next door or the industrial park next door. M1 wasn't going to be appropriate, so that's why we elected to do the planned professional district. It is not necessarily maximizing the efficient development of the site, which our planned districts ask for, and it may generate limited tax revenue. There are a lot of parking spaces. However, it is compatible with the character of the area, and overall staff, in spite of some of these concerns, is recommending approval of both the annexation and the rezone.
Do you have anyone to speak for or against the rezone annexation?
Could I go ahead? I just have to go ahead and say on the record, I'm going to have to recuse myself for voting on this. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm Andrea Gray. This evening, I'm representing DICOM and its request for annexation and rezoning to accommodate its technical training facility. Stephen did a great job and made my job a lot easier by going through all the details. So I will hit the highlights that I have here in my presentation. As Stephen mentioned, the property is located with frontage on Jim Dawes Road and Highway 78 and totals about 48.84 acres. It is currently zoned B3 through Walton County, which accommodated our use, and we are seeking to rezone through the city for a planned professional district. It's directly across the street from Minerva Beauty, which is zoned M1, and then the Development Authority of Walton County's property, which is also zoned M1. Under the Walton County Future Land Use Map, this was cited as highway corridor, which is anticipated for this type of development. A little bit about DICOM. This is a national company. It provides specialty contracting services for telecommunications and infrastructure throughout the United States. When I gave this presentation about them in November of last year, they had about 15,000 employees, and they asked me to update the presentation tonight to say that they have 21,000 employees. So quite a shift, continuing to grow. They've got 560 field offices. Most of those are concentrated in the Southeast. Many of those are in Georgia. Their vision for this training center was to increase overall quality of their training program, to bring their employees to a place that they would actually enjoy being at, to have a lodge-like atmosphere. They envisioned having both classroom and field training opportunities here. And they really wanted to find a beautiful piece of property where they could develop this that's centrally located to their southeastern hubs and to really become part of the community by developing this here in Walton County. A little bit of the background that Stephen mentioned, we did rezone through Walton County. We were planning to do septic and now would prefer to do sewer to be able to best develop the site long term. There was a groundbreaking in April. Construction is well underway. If you've driven down Highway 78, I'm sure you've noticed it in your travels. We are again requesting to annex for purposes of connecting to the sewer. And to that end, there's an intergovernmental agreement being circulated between the city and the county to allow the county to continue permitting the development so that construction will be ongoing as we go through this annexation and rezoning process. And then once there's a certificate of occupancy on the development, then the jurisdiction will switch back to the city of Monroe. The facility components, again, we've got a classroom component for indoor learning, and then we'll have a hands-on component with a pole yard, a driving course, underground utility field, and then mock residential neighborhood. In addition to that, we'll also have the retreat-style lodges to house up to 43 people at a time. And then our on-site manager, who is with us this evening, will live on the property in the existing house that's been renovated full-time. And again, the emphasis of this and the reason they picked this site and the reason there's so much undeveloped portions of this property is they wanted to blend in with the natural, the existing natural character of the property. As shown, the current site plan has impervious surfaces of less than 20%. In our pattern book, we showed that with expansion, we only anticipate up to 25%. So a long-term conservation use is what's contemplated here. We've also allowed for additional buffers against the adjoining residential properties, and then we'll have a perimeter fence and a gate to provide security on-site and for those off-site as well. Operations, this is a business hours only operation. They won't be doing any training at night. Mr. Tom Bones back here is the on-site manager, so somebody will be there monitoring activity at all times. And then, as far as blending into the community, they're going to make sure that all the lighting is facing downward and inward to the site so that it doesn't disturb our neighbors. Site plan that Stephen went over, he really did hit all the highlights here with entrances off Highway 78 and Jim Dawes. If you're coming from Highway 78 going south through the site, you first hit the existing house, which has been renovated, and then the attached garage there. As you work your way down into the site, the buildings numbered 4, those are the lodges where people will stay. And then 5 is a recreation center that's in between those lodges for the people staying to enjoy. The number 6 is there, one by the lodges, and then one a little further down. Those are pavilions. And then you'll see the 2 mock residential neighborhoods, which will be those small houses where they'll practice running wires through those. Further down, you've got the pole yard and the underground utility yard. And then finally, building 1 is, again, the indoor training facility, which is the main building on campus. As Stephen showed, these are the renderings of the buildings. To note, really, they've made an effort to blend in, to use neutral colors to make it look like that lodge retreat type feel with the greens and the browns and the tans. They'll use a mix of materials here that are also mirrored as we work through in the lodges and the recreational areas. They really stay on theme throughout all of the buildings to give it a cohesive feel. And again, these are the ancillary buildings, including the restrooms, which even the restrooms are of a upgraded design and materials to match the rest of those buildings. In your pattern book, we've got a lot of details about the landscaping, the fencing, the signage, the lighting. Just want to make note of those things here, that they've all been designed with intention to make this a high-quality facility. This project's very important to DICOM. This represents about a $30 million investment on their part in our community. So project highlights, jobs. While the direct jobs created on the site are not significant, they are training people for blue-collar jobs to work all across the Southeast, including in Georgia. So I think it's a tremendous benefit to our community. They hire sometimes kids out of high school. They're already connected with our Walton Works program and are working, towards hopefully recruiting local people to join DICOM and then be trained right here in Walton County. So they'll be a large contributor to our economy. Much larger value on the tax base with the $30 million project compared to virtually farmland at this point. And they are interested in being a new community corporate partner, and, you know, really plugging into Walton County and Monroe. And again, just to emphasize, you know, the minimal impact to neighbors, nothing's being manufactured here, nothing's being distributed. This is not an industrial use, it's very unique. And they've, you know, got a very thoughtful design as far as adding buffers, and, you know, minimal traffic will be coming and going just due to the nature of their operation. And we did make an effort to reach out and talk to our neighbors in the area. Here's an aerial view of the construction progress that was taken last week. You'll see where I've labeled the classroom building. So again, that's the main building that was labeled number 1 on the site plan. Looking back to the south, that's the entrance coming from Jim Dawes, and then the north is Highway 78. A little hard to see here, but you know, currently it's substantially complete with grading, and can't see it quite in this picture, but there are utility lines being run as we speak. And this is just another view from the different side of the classroom building, looking back up towards the pole yard and the mock neighborhood. So with that, again, our request is to annex 48.84 acres into the city, and as a part of that, to rezone it as a planned professional district for a technical training facility. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Floor is open if anyone wants to comment. Ma'am?
She needs to approach the podium, give her a name and address. Could you give her your name and address, please?
Hello, Jasmine Brightwell. I stay at 265 Jim Dawes Road, right next door to the project that's going on here. I don't have a, you know, it's nothing with the project, but the driveway to enter into the, whatever they're doing, is like going right in front of my yard. I don't like it. And then they left a letter asking if they could cut down 2 trees out of my yard. I never responded. They cut them anyway. It's a big hole. I have pictures in the front of my yard where it just fills with water every time it rains, and it goes on my driveway. I don't know when they're gonna fix it. It's been like that over a month. So, yeah.
Does anyone here want to respond to this lady's question?
I will say what I do know, and I appreciate that she came out tonight, and we did make an effort to reach out ahead of the construction. I know that the driveway is squarely on my client's property. It's been surveyed and marked and all those things. I do not have any knowledge about the trees. I'm happy to look into that unless anybody that's here with me knows. Mr. Bone knows about the trees, so he can report on that.
As the specific trees, I don't know about. There's a deceleration lane that's required to get into the property, and I do believe that it's in the right-of-way right off the side of Jim Dawes Road that goes in there, and I would imagine that they probably had to pull a tree or two to get it in there. Wasn't aware of water pooling up, and we'll make sure we get that taken care of.
Any other comments regarding this question or comments about the project? Hearing none, we need a motion.
Yeah, you're taking 2 actions. There's first the annexation, then the rezone.
Right.
Motion to approve the rezone.
You're doing the annexation first, then the rezone.
Motion to approve the annex.
I'll second that one.
Can you repeat that?
Motion to approve the annex.
And I second it.
This is annexation with the rezone 4763 Jim Dawes Road.
It's the annexation first,
Yes, annexation,
only.
this issue. So,
Your motion is only for the annex.
Yes.
do we have a motion and then a second?
Yeah, I second it.
In favor? Signify.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Next is, excuse me, the rezone of 4763, 329 Jim Dawes Road, 1098 US Highway 78. Any comments for that? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the annex, right? Nope. Rezone. Motion to approve the rezone.
Rezone, right. Do we have a second?
I'll second. A second.
Motion to approve, then? How many, want to go?
A motion
Second.
to
You got a
approve it.
motion
She
and
seconded.
approval. You need to vote.
Oh, yeah. Aye.
Motion to approve, signify by saying aye. All
Aye.
Aye.
right, motion carries then, because I vote in favor. All right,
Just for the record, I did not vote for,
I noticed that.
okay? So you can record me as a no on that.
Okay.
Hold on.
Wait.
All right, let's back up here. For the rezone, you didn't vote? Or you voted no?
I vote no.
Okay. I don't think that's a quorum vote. You have three. That's a three, so that's a 3-1. Yeah, that's, Randy doesn't have to do anything for that, so that's fine. I'm just making sure we had a quorum vote. I'm just making sure everything's fine.
Right. So I vote yes, so we have a quorum.
Yeah, that was a quorum vote. I just want to make sure I didn't hear Rosalind say no. I'm sorry. Thank you. Just want a clarification. on
Any
that.
additional comments on this item, this project? Now we're good. Hearing none, have a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
In favor? Aye.
Aye.
Adjourn.